Hello and welcome back to the Beyond the Coach podcast. I am one of your hosts, Kelsey Nanini,
And I'm Chris Sweet.
and I'm reporting from my dorm room today. No, really, I'm not, but my dad is sleeping in our now guest room because we changed. Our nursery is now our old guest room, so now my office is the office slash guest room, and I brought all of my all of my tools. I brought my tools, but I didn't bring the connector to the freaking laptop. And the laptop doesn't have. Why does that have to be difficult? Why does Apple have to be like this?
I was saying
There's
about
not.
that today. My AirPod Maxes are the one thing I have that still use the old iPhone charger, like the
Mm,
old one. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" I don't even know where it
why?
is. I don't know where
Yeah,
that cord is.
Kaden still has that. We were
I'll come grab him.
him and her friend. We were all in the car, and our friend goes, "Do you have a charger?" And Kaden goes, "Yeah," and he passes back his charger. I'm like, dude, nobody has that phone anymore.
You're like, "Can you play a little cool, Caden? Come on,
Come on, God, you're embarrassing.
that
I don't
hard."
know. But I like our topic for today.
I do too. It was inspired by one of our ACA clients, our Apex Coach Accelerator coaches. And she has a client of mine. I won't name names. I'll keep her private unless she suddenly wants to go on her social media and say hi with me because we were heated up over this. But essentially, she posted, it was on Facebook. She had like posted something. It was like a piece of content. And, it was just alluding to the whole idea of like your habits or where you are now is essentially like the result of habits you have had over time. So like, if you're not happy where you're at, it's likely because you've done things time and time and time again that just like don't support the result you really want. And people were not so kind to her on this post on Facebook. Also, leave it to Facebook. I feel like Facebook's pretty
And
nice
also, of course,
these days,
Facebook of all things,
but
old people that hate everything.
everything. And this person pretty much like turned the whole thing around and was like referencing, cancer and all because, and like you can't blame individuals with cancer and you can't blame individuals with this and this and this. And my client was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like I was not referencing like anything, blaming, targeting anyone with like a medical condition, medical diagnosis that is to a certain severity. Like obviously it was a very specific post and it wasn't meant to be taken out of context. And she just got the whole thread got blown up. Like pretty much just everyone was commenting hate. And, she came to me and she was like, how should I like mentally deal with this? And she's a very tough individual. Like this coach is already very like
He's
thick skinned, badass, like just truly like she's not going to be shaken easily, but she definitely was like, what should I do in this situation? Like, was it wrong for me to make this post? Like, and I know that this is so many situations other content creators and coaches get into is that they make a post, it gets some hate, and then they're like, oh my God, I'm hated by the internet. I should never post this again. Like, I need to go be likable. And so I was voice memoing the client back, and I just said, hey, you know, in certain situations and being on social media, you are going to be unlikable. Like you did not start a social media page. You did not take a stance on something because you wanted to be liked by everybody. Like when you think of the stances that all of us have, and I referenced it to politics, and I'm not one to talk about politics at all, but I referenced it to that where I'm like, when people take a stance on one side of politics or the other, they know that there's going to be people that don't like that opinion. And it's kind of one of those things where, it can be a war zone for some people with politics, and for others, they can have a very cordial conversation and like agree to disagree. The same can go into health and fitness because people are just so opinionated when it comes to feeling really targeted from posts. And so the whole premise, and she actually was the one that was saying, you should turn this into a podcast episode about just like kind of the acceptance of being unlikable when you're a business owner or when you're a social media content creator or coach, anyone on the internet, because not everyone's going to like what you post, and you're not going to be able to make a post that appeases to everybody at any point.
Yeah. I've experienced this countless times on threads. Like I see people pop off on threads, and so I've always been like, oh my gosh, I want to post on threads. Like
You
I
recently had
started,
that happen.
yes, this
Uh-huh.
specific one. All I said, it was something along the lines of like, basically, I just get really tired of people pushing high protein, high protein. It always has to be high protein. And I'm like, yes, I understand the importance of protein. I would never discount protein. I eat a high protein diet, but people over sexualize protein. We make it too sexy to where now people are having super low calorie diets and not eating enough protein. And so that's all I said. I was like, hey, your high protein diet in the absence of enough carbs and fats. So if you're having like, this is what I was kind of referencing. Like, for instance, you're having an 800 calorie diet. My dogs just really want to say hi. They are just really reactive. I don't know what it is. We got great sleep. And they're just pissy this morning. They have not been like this the whole,
They said,
anyways.
"Good morning, internet."
Literally. Let's say you're having 1,200 calories a day, even 1,200 calories, and you're having 160 grams of protein. Over half of your calories are protein. You are not eating enough carbs and fats to have enough energy to sustain throughout the day. Now, protein becomes an energy source. Anyways, that was not the point. People freaked out. One guy was like, "This is so misleading. This is dangerous to people because people have trouble eating protein." And I was like, "Well, I'm not talking to the people who are having trouble eating protein, clearly. I'm talking to the people who are doing these quick fix diets and not eating enough protein." And I just learned, like, I used to on Threads because I stopped Threads probably because this happened to me. I generally, in general, don't care about what really annoying. These dogs are really annoying.
They're really on something today.
I think it's also easier to hear because I don't have the connector to my laptop, and usually the mic at least picks up like just me. So I
Hmm.
don't even know what it sounds like.
I
So
feel like your
sorry.
house is really echoey too in general. Like you can kind of hear like the barks really clearly, even if you're in the house.
Beautiful. I'm gonna kill him when I get done with this. Um, there was a thread like a while ago that like people were just super mean. It was probably like 3 or 4 months ago, and so I stopped posting on Threads. I was like, I don't think it's worth it anymore. Like, people are just, oh, are you shaking something? It's like the loudest thing I've ever heard. Wow, the
Sorry.
acoustics in this episode are gonna be wild.
You can
Um,
trim that out.
it's okay. I'm gonna just keep it in because it's so great.
That was me shaking my iced coffee. This is my
Um,
last day of freedom before I go on my detox, so let me enjoy it. Thank
really
you.
enjoy it. But yeah, I stopped posting because I was like, I don't want to. Every time I post something, people just get butthurt, and I'm like, it's just not worth it to me. And then I was like, on Threads. What I did with this last one was I did see that comment, but I actually stopped looking. I replied to him actually, just saying, like, hey, like, that's not who I was talking to. Like, you can't, when you're posting something, you can't post every nuance. It's like, there's no fine print when you're posting a post. Like, yes, I could have replied to my own thread and done, like, all the nuances in the world, but like, when you're posting something that's just kind of sassy and straightforward and like getting attention, you're gonna get hate, and you have to be okay with that because your opinion, that's kind of what makes you you. If you post something and everyone's like, hell yeah, they're like hyping you up and no one is arguing about it, it's not like individual to you. It's now something that's just a very basic piece of information. And like, that's not going to honestly attract people to you. Like, your specific, like, unique beliefs are what is going to
Yeah.
bring more people to your page ultimately and to you.
Yeah, I actually just pulled up my client's message because I wanted to reference like the post that she was talking about. And it was a Facebook status that she made that said, "Your body is a reflection of the standards you have for yourself, not your hormones, your age, or and your standards that you currently have." She goes, so
I
the
didn't know
person
you
was,
reply something mean to that. Like, obviously someone just felt attacked.
I felt very attacked
Like, sucks
apparently.
that you have cancer for sure, but like that
Yes. And this
that's
person
really not.
responded and said, I just remember you looking for feedback a while ago on what you wouldn't want to see in a coach. And honestly, this is it. I'm assuming she had like a DM conversation probably with this person and was like, talking about coaching or whatever.
It's crazy.
You have to be understanding as a coach that it is so much deeper than this bold statement. There are literally people commenting who have battled cancer and their bodies have been impacted. I suffer from hypothyroidism. I have friends who suffered from PCOS. This just seems insensitive. So I will say she responded really well. This client responded and said, "Ouch, LOL. Thank you for sharing your perspective and engagement with my post. I fully recognize that people face serious health challenges and that shouldn't be dismissed, but let's be clear. This post obviously wasn't aimed at those who are fighting for their health with everything they've gone through, chemo and IVF treatments, etc. It's for someone who does have control but continuously chooses habits that don't align with the outcomes they say they want. I work with women every day who are navigating PCOS, hypothyroidism, anxiety, and they're still raising the standards because they've decided that their circumstances won't be an excuse. So if this message felt harsh, my apologies, but it might be worth asking whether it hit a nerve because of the delivery or because it challenged a belief that's been keeping you stuck. And
Dude,
I
that's
was
so
like,
funny. That's
and
so
so
funny.
she had already responded and was like, hey, again, coming from the mindset of like, what do I do with this? I was like, I love your response. And she was
Yeah.
like, I wish I could just say it's okay to admit you have low standards for yourself, but I need to be okay with being unliked. And that's where this all kind of stemmed from. And we were going back and forth on it, but absolutely, it's like there's so much just gets taken out of context on social media. And like, I think of the amount of shit I see on the internet that personally I don't like. There's definitely opinions. And who was that girl? For it was like back in 2020, I think, and she did like the arm pump workouts, and she was like just doing these like she would be like do 100 reps of like this, like she would just
As
and
a
like
joke.
flapping your arms, almost like flapping your wings. She'd be like, okay, now do 100 reps of that. It was some girl who just went trend.
I
What
was
was
gonna
it?
say, was it just to go like was it just to go viral, or was that
It
like
was
was it
allegedly her work. Like she had a great body, and it was allegedly her workouts, essentially.
where's she at
And
now?
I actually have a lot of questions about that. Um, and that's how she popped off. I remember seeing her shit as a trainer and being like, this is a load of shit. Like this is
You get
not.
so much hate, but she probably
But
had a
guess
top-notch
what?
business.
I didn't say anything because at the end of the day, one, there were people commenting who were definitely, sharing the hate, but two, I know that my people believe in what I believe in, and I know that there's going to be people that I can't convert their opinions of when they love. Like the type of people who soak that stuff up aren't my type of people. They're just not going to be the type of clients that I want to work with, or, the clients who are immediately going to hop on coaching. They're the clients who usually need some time to almost like fail before they realize what they really need. And I'm not going to go on the internet and just bash all of that because instead I'm going to make my hard stance on things that people are going to have an opinion on, but then I get to stand on my opinion and I get to say, here's why I believe that. And also, here's why you're wrong when you make a post that people completely take out of context. This client's
Yeah.
post was actually really great because I totally agree. Like you are a reflection of the standard you set for yourself and the habits that you have and the routines that you have. And I love how she ended her response to that girl of saying, hey, like, I think you need to evaluate. Like, did
Yeah,
this hit a nerve because of one thing or because of
right.
another? Like, was it because it's a projection at this point of you not being happy in yourself or recognizing that, like, you've kind of accepted these excuses? The world is not going to appease to you in all ways, shapes, forms, all the things. Like, you have to be okay with one, seeing opinions that you don't agree with on the internet. Two, asking appropriate questions. Like she could have definitely commented on that status and been like, hey, I'm really curious, like your stance on this. Like if someone has PCOS or if individuals are commenting here who have had cancer, like what's your opinion as a coach there? I would want to know that. Like I think that's an appropriate question to ask if you have curiosity, but to just go and bash someone immediately based on a blanket statement is just like, what are you trying to get out of that? Like nothing. And in a year, 2 years, 3 years from now, my client's not going to think of this girl who made this, comment on your post. You're not going to think of these people who are just like making statements that you then obviously like you want to defend it, but it comes to a point where you just have to say like I just got to have my piece with this and say I'm not going to win this argument and that's okay. But I think her response was 10 out of 10. Like such a good response to say like, hey, this is my stance. This is not what I implied by it. However, if this really hit a chord, maybe this needs to be evaluated.
Yeah. And you see that all the time in the world now, right? Like people getting offended by one ad or another. The City Sweeney thing. It was like a
Mm.
very not
That's all over my
political.
TikTok right now.
Like you said, like you're like, I don't get into politics. Like the post wasn't political at all, but now it is being
Hmm.
politicized. Like
No,
it, even though
100%.
it was just a very innocent, it wasn't innocent. I mean, her boobs look great, but like it was like, I'm like, damn.
Sydney Sweeney's
Like
boobs always look great, let's be
great
honest.
genes. He does have great genes. And like also good for American Eagle. Like what a play on words. But like you see it all the time. At the end of the day, like that's market. I like feel for companies that are marketing because at this point you're gonna get so much backlash no matter what you do. And so it's just, I stopped being careful with what I said. I like stopped because like that's who I am as a person. I'm very blunt. Like I don't play the victim. I'm not going to like just validate your feelings because you're offended by something that struck a chord. If it did, you have to evaluate why that did it to you. Because I've seen stuff on the internet that pisses me off, but I'm not going and commenting on it. I'm not going and saying something because it's like at the end of the day, what is that going to fix? It's not going to do anything. That was like when I posted my TikTok that went like it almost has 700,000 views, which is crazy. And I was like, as soon as it started picking up, like I got to like 100,000 views and I was fully prepared. I was like, I'm going to get people who are offended. I'm going to get people who are just giving me flack. And I only
Yep.
had a couple of like, like not mean comments, but just like insensitive comments. Like I was actually shocked by one of them, but I was like, okay, whatever, like it's fine. And one thing I heard actually, we went to a conference earlier in July, and actually one of my favorite like people that I look up to, Cody Sanchez, had spoke, and they were talking about social media and like like where to be at. Should we be on multiple platforms? Should we just focus on one platform? And she was like, I believe that you should be on multiple platforms, but it doesn't mean you have to utilize them all at the same time. Because, for instance, for me, like Threads just is not a nice place for what I want to share. Like, Threads just has not been good for me. And so, if for whatever reason I post a thread and it goes off and people are freaking out and I'm like, I just don't want to deal with it. Well, I stopped looking at the comments first, which really helped. But like, she's like, you can get off that platform. Like, you can get off a platform where people are just being mean and like you can't post anything without someone saying something and just go use another platform that's a lot more positive. I found that while TikTok isn't a great lead generator, I like that I've at least experienced. I'm sure a lot of people actually get a lot of leads from TikTok. It's just not something that I've actually put a lot of effort into. But now that it's kind of picked up in like attention for me. I'm like, okay, well, maybe like I can start to post on TikTok more. People have been really positive on there for the most part, I will say. Like, people are very like supportive on TikTok. Instagram tends to be like a little of both. Like, it just depends on what you post, at least for me. And I don't even use Facebook anymore, probably for the same reason your client. Like, she used it, and I'm like, I just don't really like, I just don't think my audience necessarily on there. Like, I don't have a lot of like fitness audience, like all my family and friends from high school.
Yeah.
Um,
It's kind of like the place where you can like keep up to date with like family and
yeah,
friends and see
I
where they're
see
at, or
who's
like
pregnant,
contact
who's
people
getting
really
married.
easily. Like if you don't have
Yeah,
their number or something, you can always send people like a Facebook message. Like that
exactly. I don't,
it's there for convenience. It's
not
another
for my
source
business.
of communication. I
Yeah,
certainly do not use it for business.
no,
But to
but yeah,
your point of your like TikTok post, which was like a very positive post, and it was also like putting into perspective, I think, what a lot of women need to hear too, or like a
yeah.
lot of women have been in your position. When Bo had passed away, I made a TikTok and it was something like, you don't plan to go on vacation with two
Mhm.
dogs and only come back with one or something. And I had
So
had
sad.
multiple
Like, I would never say
multiple
anything mean.
right. And multiple people had commented and was like, so you went out of town knowing your dog was gonna like die and was sick and whatever. And they thought they took it as I had left my dogs here. And basically I came back from vacation, only one was still here. One, if you had gone to my previous TikTok right before that, you would have seen that like literally I was there with him. And two, if you knew anything about the context of our situation or cared to ask or even read the caption that I wrote, you would have then learned a little bit more. But people love to just like almost
Jump.
bite their teeth into like the one thing that they don't like. And at the end of the day, if you're trying like being a content creator and being on the internet, it's like if you're trying to be everyone's favorite, like if you're trying to just like appease to everybody, you're never going to say anything worth listening to at the end of the day, is like my standpoint when it comes to likability on the internet. Like nothing I say is going to be of service to anybody if I don't take a stance in one way or the other. Like the goal for me on the internet is not to be liked by all, but at least to be respected by the right people and the right people who are in my corner. And those people are my ideal clients. They're my friends. They're, colleagues and mentors. They're those types of people on the internet. You don't have to make every post appease to everyone, because I could have made that post and panicked and been like, oh my God, everyone thinks I'm a horrible person, all this stuff. Instead, I made more content out of it. I took literally those posts, they're the comments, and I just did the reply to on TikTok. And people love that shit. They love when people just reply to the comments and make a clear stance on things, because so many things are misinterpreted on the internet.
For sure. The way I've always said it too is like, if I offend someone and they say something, that's not my people. Like, specifically in running a business, like I will never coach that person. And I don't want to because I don't want to be walking on eggshells all the time. You really cannot make a polarizing post that attracts attention without pissing someone off. And it is not my job to protect your feelings because one person could take it one way and I could say something that's totally, you could say something that you're like, this is middle of the road. No one could ever be mad at this. Someone could still get mad at it. So that's why it's like you might as well just post the stuff that maybe will piss people off a little bit. And that way, you know you're going to. You're getting into it. You're like, I'm probably going to piss some people off with this. But I think also when you post something worth seeing, it's going to tug on the emotional strings of someone. And honestly, they probably need to hear it. They probably need to hear it. And that's how I've always kind of approached like the more polarizing side of content is like, I just really don't care because if you are bothered by it, it's an evaluation, just like your client said. I loved that because it's like you have to evaluate why it tugs on your nerve so bad. Like the person who was like, I suffer from hypothyroidism. I'm like, you don't suffer from it. You actually created it without knowing that. Like, hypothyroidism is something directly correlated to something that you have done in your health. You don't suffer from it. You have it because of the results of your action, which is what the post is about. And there's ways to fix it. It's not like you have an in cancer. That is not something you just create, unless of course you're like smoking cigarettes or like in tanning beds every single day. Then yes, you've probably increased your risk. But like, it, yes, you suffer from cancer. That's awful. You don't suffer from hypothyroidism. It's so
Yeah.
silly.
No, 100%. It's definitely something where people are just so sensitive on the internet and like, but that's always going to be a thing. And I think for anyone who's getting into the online space, into social media, I hear it from so many coaches, especially my business clients, where they're like, I just don't know what to post. And it comes from this idea of likability, and likability is just the trap at the end of the day because they want to be people pleasers. People pleasing is not leadership at the end of the day. And if you want to be a leader and you want to stand out on the internet, like you're going to have to be unlikable. You're going to have to not water down your messaging just to appease everybody and avoid judgment. Like you have to allow yourself to actually let your audience build trust through you by making content that's a little polarizing sometimes. And you have to be really clear and confident in that. And also, the other point, the algorithm, we love the A word over here, you know, she's a hit or miss, but it doesn't reward like basic opinions. Like it usually awards very polarizing opinions. And if you can kind of be bold and specific and almost a little opinionated around your brand, your content actually does tend to perform better because people who have those opinions are going to flood to you, and then the people who don't are still going to give you the engagement of commenting on your post and then boosting you anyways. Like that is genuinely how it works. And I'm not saying go be a dick on the internet. Like there's definitely ways to just be kind, but to this point of this client, she made this post, which in my eyes, I wouldn't have even batted an eye at. I would have been like, oh yeah, that's true. But people had an opinion on it and they felt targeted. And so now she's getting all this traction on the post, but she now gets to, it's almost like when people react to something, you then get to reestablish your authority by reacting to their reaction. And it's how you react to that that I think is actually what makes or breaks it sometimes, because you can react to it very poorly or you could react to it with grace, which is exactly what I think my client did. Like she reacted to it just so beautifully.
Yeah, she did a little bit of empathy, but then she also was like, hey, like, I'm gonna challenge you here. And I think that's like super strong. And when you, like you said, like the algorithm isn't going to react to basic content. Gone are the days I like literally cannot stand when I see somebody still posting about how to eat more protein. I'm like, dude, you don't need to post 3 tips to eat more protein. No one fucking cares. That's something you can literally put on ChatGPT. What you could do instead, as we're talking about like polarizing, like opinionated content, is like you could literally do a talking head where you're just sitting there and they're like, if you are still complaining that you can't eat protein, like eat enough protein or eat protein at every meal, then you're just being a little bitch. Like that's honestly like content that will literally, I'm like, shit, do I need to write that down in my content plan?
Can you go actually write that in your content plan? Because I would eat that shit up.
I actually need to. I actually think I'm going to. I don't even care anymore. That's like really what my mindset has been like the past
Yeah.
years. Like I just don't care anymore because like
Yep.
that honestly is content that is going to attract people to the post. Because at this point in time it is 2025. Like no
Yeah.
one cares about protein. But it's stuff like that to where it's like content that's like, here's how I coach, or here's how I do this. Um, Here are my like unique tips. I always tell clients, I'm like, do not post something that you can look up on ChatGPT. At this, I used to be Google, now it's ChatGPT, or that you can Google or look up on ChatGPT. You can cross-reference them. Because it's like that people are lazy. I get that. But like it's easily like searchable information. You want to do stuff that is either opinionated or like how you are coaching, and people aren't going to like that all the time. Like your coaching isn't everyone's cup of tea. So like specifically in content, it's like if you really are worried about being everyone's cup of tea, you might not be in the right industry. I'm just going to say that right now. You have to grow thick skin if you are going to be on the internet. Anything you post can be shared as long as your profile is public. And if you are running a business and your profile is private, please reconsider your actions.
Please make that. Please, I said, please make it private. Please make it public. Make it private if you care and you don't want to grow your business and
Exactly, precisely.
that kind of
Like, I
thing.
don't have to accept everyone who's trying to follow me. And no one actually wants to follow a private account anymore.
No, 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 no. And like you just have to
Unless
be
they grow
okay
up.
with being uncomfortable online. Like it's the same way that we tell our fitness clients like you need to get comfortable being uncomfortable. The same as like being on social media, showing up on social media. You need to not be afraid of like being disliked, but more importantly just look at it as like being misunderstood by like the people that are just not meant for you again. Like it's just meant to be something that like you can have your stance and your people are going to like that. And it also shows your personality when it comes to coaching. And I find a lot of the times the clients that like come to work with us, I've talked about this so many times on this podcast, but like they've already worked with a coach prior. And typically the coach prior either was an asshole or was a people pleaser and like would let the client do whatever they wanted. And the client never made any progress because they cared more about appeasing what the client wanted and less of doing what the client needed. And I think something that's really important as a coach and where your authority starts is actually starting online and what your opinions are and what you're posting, because then that shows what your type of authority is in the coaching space as a coach and a mentor and a leader. Because your clients, after they've worked with one or two coaches, they're like, I need a coach who's not going to just like tell me what I want to hear, but actually do for me what I need to do, even if it's not something I want to do right away. Like, we have to do the hard shit. So you have to just be okay with the discomfort of being online first in order to be even okay with the discomfort of sometimes telling someone what they don't want to hear too.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's something that I've like really held myself to in since I've been online, is just being authentic, like being myself. Like you know what you're gonna get with me when you meet me in person. Pretty much the same person I am online. And like that's actually the worst and most disappointing thing is when you meet somebody in person that you're like an influencer or whatever, and you're like kind of way different. You're like really standoffish. And like I am definitely like shyer in person than I am online. And that maybe that comes off as standoffish, but um I think it's disappointing. And so that's something and that's what people have always said when they come to work with me. They're like, I just appreciate your authenticity and your honesty. Like it's actually really refreshing because you see so much online that's not that. And so even if you do offend some people along the way, even if you do piss some people off along the way, if you're being your true self, then that is going to attract your people, specifically talking about business. And even like just being everyone's cup of tea. This happened yesterday to me in the gym actually. Um, with pregnancy, my body is just hot all the time. Like I'm just hot. And my clothes, I'm at the stage where like some of my clothes are still fitting for the gym and some aren't, and I'm still in the process of getting new ones.
Did you
Uh
do your, did
I
you shop?
did. I
You
got two
shopped yesterday?
bras and I got a shorts and leggings, but it's really hard to buy maternity stuff because I'm like, I don't know how big I'm gonna get.
Yeah.
And I also don't know if these even fit right now. So I just order the same size if they're maternity specific. I'd order the same size as I would if
That's fair. You don't really understand maternity sizing. Like,
I'm like, is a
is a
medium still
medium
my
meant to fit
medium?
a medium,
Right.
but just now pregnancy fitting?
Because like my whole body hasn't
Hmm.
really changed. I'm just holding way more weight
Yeah.
in my stomach. So
Yeah.
hopefully it works out. But like I was wearing shorts. I have these Paragon shorts that have always been a little big. Like they're my yellow shorts. They've always been big in my waist. So they're actually perfect. The band is actually very maternity friendly. But after pregnancy, I'm probably never going to be able to wear them again because they'll be too stretched out.
You can just save
But
them, or you can hand them off to, it can be like the sisterhood of the traveling shorts. Anyone who's pregnant can like take the
you
shorts
can
with
have them.
them.
Somehow they're magical. They work. But I was wearing that in a sports bra, and I am starting to pop a little bit more. And I walked past this old lady, and I just saw her like staring at me. So I walked by, and I'm like, I know that's not normal for the elderly population. Like pregnancy, you like covered up. I can't. I went to the gym in a shirt and it was a light shirt. Like it was not anything crazy. And I was like, I gotta take this off. But I like, I think it was like 7 years ago. It was like 2018. I'd been in the gym for like a year and I never wanted to work out in a sports bra. I was like, I'm so afraid what people will think. I hate my stomach. I'm so insecure. And I like took my shirt off one day at the gym and I was like, I'm just gonna do it. And no one cared. I thought that it was gonna be so inappropriate. No one cared. And I just started working out. And then now I'm just comfortable working out in a sports bra. Like I'll go to the gym in a t-shirt and shorts and I'll take my shirt off and I'll wear the sports bra. And like that's comfortable for me. And I stopped really caring about what people thought because like one, it's hot even in Arizona, like the gym still gets hot even with AC. I'm like, I gotta take this thing off. Baby is warm. And like I just
Baby's cooking.
baby's like, turn up, the heat's turned up in here. Help.
Mom, I didn't want it at 475. We needed it at 400 today.
The oven is baking. We're baking in here. I'm just always hot. And I think I slept with one leg out of the comforter last night. I'm like, that never happens. But I had great night's sleep. Maybe I'm just sleeping too hot. But anyways, I like just did it didn't even occur to me. Like past Kelsey in 2018 would have been like, oh my gosh, she's staring at me, she's judging me because my baby bump is out and she thinks this is so inappropriate. And I was like, I don't give a shit. This old lady's probably walking by like, dang, I wish I could do that when I was pregnant. Like now I just have like completely flipped the script in terms of like feeling judged and like if you're feeling that way in the gym too, I think it's just so important like that's also a reflection of yourself. Like I'm just very comfortable. Like I've done a lot of work to be comfortable in my body. And so when we're specifically talking about that too, even if you're not a coach or if you are a coach and you're not feeling comfortable in your body, I know a lot of coaches that not specifically talking about social media, it's more like talking about body image. Like we all have felt the pressure at some point or another, and maybe you're feeling it now of feeling like if you don't have jacked delts and a toned stomach or god forbid a six pack and you don't have huge ass like you don't have the typical fitness body it's easy to feel like you're not enough but like you first of all are in the gym you're consistent in the gym like that's one big win I would just say like in general you're already doing better than
I was
92%
gonna
of the
say you're doing
population.
more than most people are doing in the world, so that's something to celebrate.
Hey, so it's like I think you just have to also do a lot of work on yourself to get confident into your body and I think also even if you are maybe you feel like you're a bigger coach or you feel like you don't have the perfect body, somebody out there actually is really attracted to that because they feel comfortable knowing they're not the only one who isn't this perfect teeny bop fitness influencer. They're like, wow, I actually like was attracted to you because you do show off your body and it's something I've always struggled with and it shows that like I can be bigger and still be in the gym. Like you have to remember something you post, it's not even like to piss it might piss someone off, sure, but also it may actually help someone get into their goals and sign up with you because you had the bravery to post it or to do something just at the gym in general.
Yeah, yeah. At the end of the day, it's like posting on the internet, going to the gym. I mean, even starting a new job, like you have to be okay with being unlikable. Not every single person in the workplace is going to like you, the same way that not every single person on the internet is going to like you. There's billions and billions and billions of people on the internet. And if your goal is to get every single one of them to like you better be able to shapeshift or something because like it's not going to happen that quickly or easily, and you're going to feel a little lost. You're going to feel like people don't know me, and then you have to also feel like what version of me do I need to show up as today for this person or this person or this person, and it's exhausting. Like if you can't find an
Yeah.
audience that just appreciates you for who you are like in different seasons of life, then to be honest, I don't want it. Like, I don't want a community that I just have to appease to every single time. I want a community that like knows me and respects me for whatever it is I'm going through. And I was even thinking, as you were saying, I was like, it's like someone, afraid to walk outside because they're afraid they're going to like trip on something. They'll never leave their house. You think people are not going to leave their house because they're afraid they're going to trip on like a piece of wood or a rock or like not go hiking because they're afraid to trip on a rock. It's like, That's not realistic. The same goes for you saying, well, I'm just not going to post on the internet because I don't want to get any hate or I don't want to do this. The only person that you are hurting at that point is you. Like, you are not affecting anybody else than you, especially if you have a goal and a dream to build a business or coach individuals. Like, the only person who's being impacted is you, because I guarantee, even if someone posts hate, like the people who have posted on you and I stuff before, like hating on things, they don't even remember us probably. Like,
No,
it was so
you're doing
minuscule
that
for
on so
them
many
too.
posts.
There are little trolls on the internet that just go like, they swipe and they comment and they swipe and they comment. They have opinions on everything. We don't even matter. Like, we don't matter truly to like those people. And that's how I look at it. I'm like, this person is never going to meet me in person. They're never going to probably land on my content again with the way the algorithm works. They're never going to, do XYZ. But if you could just hold your stance and your community that's loyal to you sees how you hold your stance, that is what's going to actually make an impact. And that is where you can be likable to the people who align with you, but you have to be unlikable on the internet in order to actually make a brand at this point.
Yeah. And I think making humor of it too. Like I don't always reply to like mean comments. I didn't on that TikTok, but there's some times where I will. And it's just like sometimes you just clap back and just say something funny. Like, if someone says something you don't
Someone
like,
I think
right.
of with this is Devin. As you're saying
Yes.
that, Devin got like some post or something that was like, she looks like a piece of plywood. If you guys have seen Devin, she's not a piece of plywood. Okay. She is like
She's
she's like a thick mahogany that I want to be. Like, it's like, she's
whatever
that high
plywood
quality
smooth.
shit.
I
I'm
want it.
like,
Yeah.
the
Damn, I want
highest
that
quality
plywood.
wood you could get. I'm like, I want that. Like, her glutes are
He's just a tree
unreal.
trunk.
Literally. And
Best
I'm
way
like,
possible.
damn, that's so. And so she's someone who makes humor, not to interrupt you, but like,
Yeah.
she's someone who makes humor out of it. She'll post the comment and then she'll literally post like a sideways view of her glutes. And it's like, what plywood are you talking about here? Like,
That's
buddy,
not plywood you want to use. That's warped plywood, honey.
sorry, but you can continue.
No, I think that's a great way. That's a great example. Or like just being like, you know what, you're right. Like just that. Like sometimes, you know what, maybe the person just needed to feel validated today. They were having a bad day. I don't play devil's advocate all the time. I've actually gotten a little better about it because I'm like, you know what? If they have enough time to post hate, I feel bad for them. Maybe they just need a little bit of humor in their life. And so it just like, clapping back and I got a comment on my IKEA post yesterday and someone was mad about the fact that I was saying, this was before the podcast, we were talking about this, right? Hopefully this wasn't on the podcast, but I said like I have a trouble like translating the IKEA instructions, and I think there should be an award when you put together the furniture on the first try. And someone was like, "You do realize there's pictures on the instructions for it to be a global company. What are you translating?" And I was like, "I'm translating the pictures because the pictures make no fucking sense."
Clearly, they have never built a piece of IKEA furniture,
Right?
because if anybody has, or Wayfair or IKEA is
Yes.
like, I
There's no
gotta hire
wonder.
a task rabbit at this point to do that stuff. I'm too old for this.
Oh my gosh, like even on Amazon furniture I've gotten, or like we put together the crib yesterday, there was letters, which I get. Letters are different in every language, whatever. But I'm like, the A, now I know what the A is. But when you show me pictures of these screws and these parts that all look the same, I don't know how to put it together. And
Every
like
screw looks the same.
every screw. And so I
You have
was
to like
like,
start like measuring the diameter of it just
yeah,
to
I'm
know
like,
which
oh my
screws
gosh.
went
And
together.
then like I had to take apart the first one because like they didn't put sides on there. At least like give me a side. And I just commented back and I was like, oh, I was just talking about the picture. Sorry to upset you. Like, that's like a great, like, just saying, like, sorry to upset you on, like, I'm like, I hope you have a nice day. Just like, I just, if you want to, because like, technically it's an extra comment on your post. If you want it to keep going viral, you can always respond. Like, I have taken the time and past posts. And then, I just reached a point where I was like, I don't even, these people just want to they want sometimes to get a rise out of people. They're probably in their mom's basement playing World of Warcraft and eating takeout every day. So not that World of Warcraft's bad, but in your mom's basement at 40 might be. So I always picture the guy in Benchwarmers. Have you seen the guy that got bullied by Gus Bus? Whenever someone comments on my post, I always think about him. I'm like, he's the one commenting. I always picture.
Sometimes if you just like put a
Nice.
face like that to whoever's behind the screen, makes it instantly better.
Makes it a lot more enjoyable. So yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you can post or you can comment back, but I think at the end of the day, it's just like sometimes just not looking at it, sometimes just
Hmm.
posting and allowing it to happen. And if it's going viral, just click the notification and exit out. Like sometimes
Hmm.
that's just for the best if you are getting like bothered by something going viral. Like you can't try to post viral posts all the time and then be mad when people post mean things. It's going to happen. Like you just have to be prepared for that.
Yeah, I mean, if you go viral, it's like I used to romanticize it so much, and then like when I had gone
Sucks.
viral, I was like, "This is the worst shit ever." I was like, "It is like
I'll stick to my 3,000
a
views. I'm good.
war zone in the comments." And
Yeah.
I will say too, one thing I was actually going to say earlier was like, if you're ever getting a lot of hate and you're like, "Gosh, like this is awful," all these things, go to like, and this might be a weird coping mechanism, but like go to like Whitney Simmons, for example, or Alex Earl, or like these big content creators, right,
Yeah.
that are on the internet. Go to their comment section and just truthfully go look at the amount of
Yeah.
negative comments they get and the amount of judgment they get. You want to know something? They keep posting. Like they keep showing up, they
Yep.
keep posting what they want because they're not going to let those people stop their success. I mean, Alex Earl started her social media doing Get Ready with Me's in college when she was going
And
to
dances.
University of Miami. And now here she is. You know, she owns a drink company. She is her YouTube's popping
She was
off. She
in the
just
new
I
Happy
was about
Gilmore.
to say she did a cameo in Happy Gilmore.
I was like,
Like,
wait, what the I didn't know she was in it. I was like, wait, what?
you think that Alex Earl gives a flying shit about little Jimmy that's commenting bad stuff in her TikTok when she's getting cameo deals for Happy Gilmore? Like,
No.
I don't think so. So you need to look at it that way of like, do I really care little old Jimmy commenting on my post when I'm signing, you know, three of my most ideal clients ever in the past month? Like, you have to put things into perspective
Yep.
in that sense. And the other thing I'll add for like your mental health is it's also okay to delete those things. Like if you find that you're someone who's going to fixate on them, go delete the comments, go block the people that are commenting that stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's okay to also just get rid of it if you need to at the end of the day versus reacting to it or letting it sit because like that's also an option. But I will say I usually just let shit sit. Like I've definitely been in moods where I respond to all of them and then I go through moods where I'm like, I'm just not gonna answer them.
Yeah.
Or my
Ignore
loyal followers will actually answer the haters and do the job for me.
it for you. Yes. Yeah, that's actually the best when that happens. But I think at the end of the day, it's like all in your mindset. If you expect the worst, then the best will happen. Like if you post
Yep.
something like probably gonna get hate on this, then you know you're gonna get it. And if you don't get it, then it's a pleasant surprise. And vice versa. Like if you expect it to be all sunshine and rainbows, you're going to be disappointed. And I think just like when you can prepare yourself and just approach it that way, um, the internet is a great place and all at the same time a really freaking sucky place. And if you allow the opinion of a random stranger who you will literally never meet in life, or maybe you've walked past them on the side of the street. I don't know, you've walked past them on a sidewalk before or at an event. But like when you really go out in public and you look around and you're like, these are people commenting on my posts. You're like,
Hmm.
all right, I'm fine. Like it's just silly to get upset about the opinion. Like I will say I'll get upset if I upset someone that I genuinely know and like respect. Like I would never have the intention of doing that, but obviously we don't all have the same opinions. But I think at the end of the day, you can't worry about the opinions of a random stranger who's literally never going to be friends with you, talk to you, pay you for your services. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't.
Yep. Yep. The last thing I'll add too is for anyone who's like, I don't have time to, you know, send 10 DMs or whatever, you know, they're being told to do, but yet you'll sit and you'll respond to all the hate comments on the internet. Like, go put that energy into like the people who may actually become clients and
Yeah.
just put that into perspective for you guys. Like, it's all in where you give your energy, and that energy is going to be what you give to others. And you don't always want that to be, I don't know, it's like fighting fire with fire. Sometimes you got to go do something else.
Yeah, it's all in your mindset.
Hmm.
So if it's
Go
anything
and
you've
be
taken,
unlikable.
yeah, be unlikable. If it's anything you've taken from today, it's okay to be unliked. It's okay to be spicy. And honestly, I appreciate that stuff. I've loved seeing like some like just people even in ACA or just in general that I know, like in through our business coaching program and mentorship is
I love the
seeing
spicy content.
seeing the
It just,
comment like the spicy content. I'm like, hell yeah, more people need to be doing this.
Yep.
So if there's anything you take away from this, we'll challenge you. We'll end off the podcast with a challenge. Go post a piece of content. I know you complain about what your clients do. I know you're complaining about clients doing stuff. Use that as content. Like literally use what your clients are doing as content. If they feel called out, maybe be like, well, I have been telling you this for the past 3 weeks.
Yeah. Yep.
So go use some content, something that pisses you off in the industry, use it as content today and see what happens. And then enjoy the hate you get, but also enjoy just posting what you feel and see how it feels. And then I'm guessing you'll probably want to post more spicy stuff in the future.
Yeah, I was gonna say you'll fall back in love with social media. So I'm excited to see
True.
everyone's spicy posts now.
Tag us in it. Tag us in it. That way we
We
can
want to
see
see
it.
it. We'll hype you up.
Yeah, we want
We'll
to
be
see
the
it.
ones, we'll be the little trolls in there fighting
We
off the
will.
haters for
We'll
you.
troll. It'll be fun.
Well, thanks guys for listening. If this resonated, let us know. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.